A production of Civic Center TV. Find our on-demand programming on civiccentertv.com and follow us at Civic Center TV on Twitter and Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live. Dave Scott in for Tyler Keefe. We're live, we're local, we're social. We are everywhere, and we have a lot of coffee, and I think we're ready to go. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Dave Scott. What a crew we have here. Another new person to introduce to you. Yesterday we introduced you to Jake Schaf. Today we introduce you to Kevin McIntosh. Kevin, good morning and welcome to the Dream Team here, as I've been calling it, on Civic Center TV. Good to have you with us.
Well, thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Great opportunity to be here and just excited to talk about what's going on locally.
All right, we're going to find out more about you, but before we do that, let's just say hello to Jake Schaf. And Jake Schaf is also with us. Jake, good morning. How are you?
Great. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Kevin. Beautiful morning here, and we've got a lot of great stories to cover today.
All right, I know you were on the street. We're going to get to you all day yesterday. We're going to get to you and find out what stories you have for us this morning. But quickly back over to Kevin. Kevin, good morning. Welcome. We're so delighted that you're going to be our newest reporter here on Civic Center TV. Tell us a little bit about you. Where you been? What's going on?
Well, Detroit native, essentially. Detroit Cass Tech graduate. Graduated from Eastern Michigan University also. I have a background in radio broadcast and spent some years in Lansing, Michigan also. But I'm back home in the Metro Detroit area and excited to be here.
So, listen, when you were interviewing here, you never told me that you went to Cass Tech. And at West Bloomfield at Cass Tech, we got some history in football. I don't know that you would have got the gig if you had told me that.
Well, you know what? I got to represent my school. Even if I had to, slide that under the table to get here, I'm here now.
Well, no, we're really happy you're here.
Thank
you. Listen, you have done an incredible job on the radio in Lansing, working for one of the top hip-hop stations in Lansing, my good friend Mac McDonald. And, really also have been doing a ton of podcasting on a national level. And when we looked at your resume, that was like, oh, man, this guy, Detroit, podcaster, radio. We were so happy that you said yes and that you're on our team. And we're looking forward to having you here on The Splash and introducing you to people all over the community.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Happy to make some content in the digital space.
All right. Well, here we go. Get ready. We got a lot of work to do this morning. Let's head over to Jake Schaf. Jake, yesterday it was President's Day. And tell us, you headed out of the community. Where'd you go?
Yes, I did. President's Day, it's a day for kids. All that matters with President's Day, it's a day off from school. And a lot of kids, it's the middle of winter. They want a little hint of what's to come with summer, which is just a few short months away. So they decided to relax and enjoy the day swimming. And I went to the Goldfish Swim School where kids spent the day with their families for the family swim, and it was just so much fun, and there's a lot of great things to talk about there.
All right, well, we look forward to your report. It's going to be coming up a little bit here in the Splash. And when they built that swimming pool in Orchard Mall, it kind of blew my mind because you don't really think about a swimming pool being in one of those retail spaces. Yeah. I still haven't walked in there yet because I don't have any kids. But, how does it feel when you walk in there? Does it feel like, if this swimming pool should be right next to all the retail experiences?
Well, it works. It works in its environment. It works in its location. It's not a giant space, but they make it work with what they have. And it's a great pool, a lot of space for a lot of families, and you could watch all the fun from the sidelines if you're not interested in swimming. And there's just a lot of great things to do there. I think the location's very, very great.
All right, not a giant space, but giant fun yesterday on President's Day. One of the many things that moms and dads were doing to try to fill the day for their kids that didn't have to go to school. Jake Schaf, thanks for checking in. We look forward to your report coming up here on The Splash today on Civic Center TV. So just one follow-up item from President's Day from yesterday. And we were thinking after we got off the show, the meaning of President's Day, and I think it was originally Kevin called George Washington's birthday or something like that. I mean, it's gone through some evolution, and some people think about President's Day simply as honoring George Washington. Other people look at it differently. But what you don't know, and you're going to find out before the hour is over, that Steve Kaplan, he's the #1 elected official. He's our township supervisor in West Bloomfield.
Okay.
He is going to give us a special treat for President's Day. Yesterday, everybody was off, so he'll be checking in with that a little bit. So we'll see, and you get a chance to meet Steve. And I promise you, anytime he comes on, it's always interesting and entertaining. This will be no exception.
Looking forward to it.
So you have not moved back to Metro Detroit from Lansing yet, so how'd the commute go this morning?
Beautiful commute. I'm leaving out early in the morning, so it's not too much traffic on the road. And one thing I do not like is traffic, so very, very smooth this morning.
Well, for people in our area who are commuting and using 696 and trying to get on at Orchard Lake Road or get on it out by M5, they have added a lot of additional congestion in there, more construction. They had it all opened up, but according to reports, there is going to be a lot more activity there, some additional lane shifts, and a whole lot more. So if you are using that thoroughfare in the morning, just be alert and know that that's going to take you a little bit of time. News from Lansing yesterday, our state representative, Noah Arbit, who is a frequent guest on the show, of course, has elected to run for his seat again in 2024. That's certainly no big surprise. We'll be connecting with him as soon as we get an opportunity, talk to him about his freshman service in the State House of Representatives and what he wants to accomplish if he is returned to that seat. And we'll get him on as soon as we get an opportunity, probably in the next couple of days. Here's the other really big news in West Bloomfield. This is remarkable. So are you a sports fan, Kevin?
Absolutely. Basketball, football, baseball, all around. Let's talk.
All right, well, good. Well, we're going to put some of those Cash Tech days and your sports knowledge to work here. This is remarkable. Listen, you're going to have to become a little bit of a West Bloomfield partisan now.
Okay.
All right.
I can support it.
Okay. So in our community, we have not one, but two teams that Mick McCabe and the Detroit Free Press have ranked as the #1 in boys and the #1 in girls basketball coming into the tournament. And let's look at that team right there, Orchard Lake St. Mary. I saw them play. I think they got knocked out last year. It was at Bloomfield Hills High School by Brother Rice, if I recall. But they are ranked #1 in the state of Michigan for the boys basketball tournament. And they got quite a sports legacy over there, don't they?
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, and they're always ranked at the top. Along with my high school, Cass Tech, they're always, top 10, top 5. So congratulations also to the boys basketball team.
All right, so Orchard Lake St. Mary, clearly right in our neighborhood on the boys' side. And then, of course, over on the girls' side and the women's side, the West Bloomfield High School Lakers basketball team went to the state semis, or to the state finals last year and lost in the finals. We're going to have a lot of fun following them again through the tournament run. We're going to get out to some games. We'll talk to the coaches and the players. It's going to be another big year for the West Bloomfield ladies. They are predicted to go all the way. They had a great run. We kind of thought they were going to make it and maybe come back with the state trophy last year. It was so disappointing, but what a great run, and likely I will not be surprised if they make it into the state finals. So we'll be watching that. But remarkable, two teams right here in our coverage area that have high aspirations and are likely going to go, quite a ways in this year's tournament. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Amazing technology happening at Henry Ford Hospital when it comes to cancer care. We'll have that report in a minute. I'm Dave Scott. He's Kevin McIntosh, and you are watching The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. What people are watching in Orchard Lake. Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. Live, local, and social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join our team as we highlight people and events that are making an impact in the greater West Bloomfield area. Catch us live Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. Live in studio, I am Kevin McIntosh along with Dave Scott, and we're just talking about some brand new technology they have at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital that's helping out with cancer. Let's check that out.
The benefits of the Halcyon linear accelerator with the Ethos software gives us the ability to have an enhanced onboard imaging. It gives us a better imaging, more detailed imaging, which gives us the ability to target your tumor even better.
And it's very effective for a wide range of cancers and often used with other modalities, surgery or chemotherapy for cure or to just improve quality of life.
It also gives us the ability to do adaptive radiation. Adaptive radiation means that each day before the treatment, we use that day's imaging set to replan and remap where the radiation is going to go on that day based on where your normal organs might be.
We can actually create a new plan really in a matter of minutes while the patient's on the table. With the new technology, you need staff to really take full advantage of it, and I'm proud to say I think we have that here.
All kinds of cancers can be treated on the Halcyon. Patients who have abdominal tumors that could shift while you're breathing, or that can shift based on the size of a patient's stomach or small intestines. Patients with prostate cancers that are close to the bladder and the rectum. For patients that want to go through high doses of radiation to get their regimen finished as quickly as possible. It's also very useful for lung cancers, again, that shift during treatment and with the breathing cycle. We're able to make sure that we are keeping that dose targeted to the lung cancer.
So we really have this extra tool that I think will be really helpful. Here at the Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, which really is my home and where I live, in a community I live in myself and feel very devoted to, we can offer, I think, more here and keep more of the patients here. Medicine should be very personalized, and I think this is a way to be more personalized.
At Henry Ford, we're very fortunate to have the access to the most cutting-edge treatment modalities there are in radiation oncology, whether that's with the Halcyon with Ethos technology, whether that's with the Variant Edge, which gives us enhanced capability to treating even very, very small brain tumors, or any of the other treatment machines that we have. We always have access to the right kind of technology to treat your cancer in the best way possible.
Great information from Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield. Cancer, Kevin, you're a young man. You get to be my age. Cancer starts to be something we're all thinking about. I certainly, in my family, we've had trouble with cancer, and something that we're always watching. So when the amazing doctors at Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield, come up with additional diagnostic tools that can help, that's big news. We will always, and we are committed to letting you know what's going on in that amazing hospital right here in West Bloomfield. We are so lucky to have such an amazing facility here and an amazing campus. And you know, Kevin, it's nice to know it's right around the corner should we ever need it, and helping so many people in our community.
Yes, it's absolutely great to hear that a local hospital is being innovative in finding ways to treat cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer, and things of that nature. We all know someone who has been affected by it, so great job, Henry Ford.
Yeah, and then we have to do our part, you know, fulfill our part of the bargain, and then go in and go to your doctor and get those diagnostic tests too. That's your part of the bargain. Meanwhile, the people at the Henry Ford Hospital Group, not just West Bloomfield, are keeping a very close eye on what's going on in the city of Detroit. Big news today is they are looking at approving some new procedural things. You can go read the paper, get all the details that would clear the way for a major expansion of the main Henry Ford Hospital on Grand Boulevard in Detroit. Some incentive programs. It also involves the owner of the Pistons, who wants to build some apartments there, and the community has to approve those incentives. Meanwhile, Detroit's on fire.
Yes.
And talking about that, I believe they announced today the day that the old train station is going to be, you know, the big project that Ford has been doing there. When that is all going to be announced, and I want to say it's like 6/6/24. I think they put a big sign up on the building, and the development that's been going on in that area, Corktown on Michigan Avenue. I know we're here to report on West Bloomfield, but it's just absolutely amazing what's going on in the city.
No, absolutely. And me being in Lansing the last 7-8 years, I've been watching the growth and development from afar. But, you know, being a native from Detroit, I'm happy to see everything come together. And it's about all of the communities in the surrounding Metro Detroit area growing together. So beautiful to hear. Love it.
And we definitely benefit in West Bloomfield from the success and growth of the Henry Ford system thriving, and the improvements that they're going to make to that hospital right across the street from the Motown Museum is very, very important to all of us in West Bloomfield. Well, meanwhile, yesterday, President's Day, and quite a day it was. Moms and kids and dads all over the community looking for fun things to do on their day off. One of those was to go swimming. And with more on that, our own Jake Schaf.
Jake Schaf with Civic Center TV here at the Goldfish Swim School in West Bloomfield, Michigan. President's Day means a lot of different things, but for kids, all that matters is that it's a day off from school and a day to do whatever they want to do. And a lot of the kids in the community decided to head off to the Goldfish Swim School to have some fun in the pool and to maybe get in a little practice for summer.
So we are having a free family swim event for President's Day with most of the kiddos in the area having the day off school. We decided to invite them in for a family swim, which we do host every week for our members on Mondays and Thursdays from 12:30 to 1:30. It's a great time just to, you know, get out, enjoy the pool. It's not a structured lesson or anything like that. It's just all fun.
I'd imagine this would be a very fun way for the kids to enjoy today, especially with it being a day off from school.
Absolutely, and with it being so cold outside, our weather here in Michigan, you know, is unpredictable, but the pool is always 90 degrees. So even though, you know, it is cold outside, they can come in and warm up for a little bit.
Yeah, it's just nice to get them out of the house. You know, they always love to be, you know, around video games and screens. So just to get a chance to get outside or get inside actually and do some swimming is it's pretty great. We do a lot of swimming outside, so it's pretty big. So yeah, they're very excited for this. They love swimming, so yeah, big part of their summer.
Is this a great way to spend your day off from school?
Yes, I love it. I love it. I really, really like it. It's really fun because I haven't been able to go swimming in a while.
We recommend that families that are interested in teaching their kiddos, you know, safety skills, they get in as soon as possible. It can be, you know, a little bit of a learning curve for some young ones, and it can take sometimes a few weeks to get them really comfortable in our pool. So the earlier they sign up, the better. We have just recently started offering a Friday family swim. So the first Friday of every month, if y'all are looking for something to do, come on out from 6 to 7:30 p.m. So the next one will be the first Friday of March. We are also now offering Monday lessons during the day, so that's super exciting. If you know, have some little ones that are looking for something to do on Mondays, definitely check that out.
Talk about a day full of fun. Let's hope that these kids made great use of their day off, and more importantly, let's hope they made some incredible memories with their families along the way. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaf.
Great work, Jake. I was excited to hear that the water is 90 degrees because during this time, I definitely don't want to get in any cold water. So great work, Jake. And coming up for you, we have a very, very special treat reflecting on President's Day. We're going to test your knowledge. It's Kevin McIntosh, Dave Scott in studio, The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. What people are watching in Orchard Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
One scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when. Take control. 1. Assess your needs. 2. Make a plan. 3. Engage your support network. Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell.
Live, local, and social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join our team as we highlight people and events that are making an impact in the greater West Bloomfield area. Catch us live Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Splash Live. Tyler Keefe is off this week. I mean, President's Day and then another day. And then, no, it's a well-deserved vacation for Tyler. He'll be back in a week or so. The guy works so hard. It's fun to be here in the anchor chair. Good to be with you today on The Splash Live. Noah Arbit is going to run for his state house seat again. He announced that yesterday. He joins us on the show tomorrow. We'll have a conversation with him about all that. How's it going to be going during his freshman term and what he expects for the future. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll check in with West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation and find out what they're planning for us for the summer. It won't be long, and we'll be all geared up with all of their amazing summer programs. We'll tell you about that in just a minute. I'm Dave Scott. He is Kevin McIntosh, the newest member of the Civic Center TV team. And Kevin, let me introduce to you, if you would allow, the supervisor of West Bloomfield Township. Joining us now on the Splash Live is Steve Kaplan.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Kevin.
So Steve, Kevin, Steve. Steve is our township supervisor. Kevin, we Cass Tech grad, amazing broadcaster from Lansing. We somehow urged him to come back home to the Motor City and join our team. His first day with us today on the air, and we're really excited. I just wanted you two to meet, Steve.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
Great to
Happy
see
to be
you.
here. Nice to meet you, Steve.
Meetings together.
So, Steve, yesterday was President's Day, and we sent our camera crews all around West Bloomfield to ask people what it meant to them and if they could name, maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 presidents. And, I guess I thought about that, and I couldn't help but think about you. First of all, what did President's Day mean? What does it mean to you, Steve?
It's a way for residents, citizens of the United States to appreciate the government we have. Currently, of course, the political parties are at odds with one another, but we have the best government in the world, and it will not be surpassed.
Well, that's well said. I knew you could articulate that in a very fine way. But of all the people I know, I don't know anyone who loves the presidency more than Steve Kaplan. Why is that? Where did all that come from?
Well, Dave, if you read a biography of a president, you're not only learning about him, and one day it'll be him or her, probably within the next 8 years, but when you're learning about the era, you're learning about that president's friends and allies and advisors. So you're not only learning about the president himself, but you're learning about that era, and that's always helpful to understanding today's era.
Well, listen, anything that'll help us understand what's going on today in this very complicated political environment is good. But, I know you respect and appreciate history, and so hopefully somewhere in all that history is an opportunity to get a deeper understanding of what we're going through right now. Because it's a little challenging right now with what's going on. We got, one presidential candidate who's spending all of his time in court, and two candidates this year, not to get political, but just stating the obvious. It's a complex election coming up ahead of us. Two candidates that are, they're as elderly as any president we've ever had.
And 80% of the public, according to reliable and reputable polls, do not want either candidate running. They do not want a candidate running who is above, say, 77 years of age.
Well, all this isn't the reason I called.
Right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue, please.
President Reagan was 77 when he left office in January 20 of 1989, but he seemed very vibrant.
Well, absolutely. But Steve Kaplan, none of this is the reason that I called you today. Thank you, though, very much for your thoughts on President's Day. What Kevin doesn't know, and probably most of our viewers don't know, is that you have a unique skill when it comes to President's Day and your recollection of the presidents. Do you want to share that with us?
Oh, sure. And before doing so, President Biden is considered to be the 48th president of the United States, but he's actually the 47th because Grover Cleveland served 2 non-consecutive terms. And therefore, he is President 22 and 24. And President Biden is President 48, even though he's number 47.
All right, Kevin, you get all that? There will be a quiz at the end of this interview, so.
Right.
But I think what you're referring to is, I know you're always interested when somebody can name the presidents in order of service. And you mind if I make an effort in that regard? And my assistant's right here with me, so she'll. I'm not looking at a teleprompter.
Yeah, believe me, what you're about to see, I've seen before. This is a no BS deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, Supervisor Steve Kaplan.
All right, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, John Tyler, and now we're at 1844. I'm going to have to come back to that one. But we have Polk. Oh, I'm sorry. So Zachary Taylor, and he died in office, and then Millard Fillmore, Polk, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, takes us to 1877. And then Rutherford B. Hayes, which some people call Rutherford B. Hayes because of the way he gained the presidency. And James Garfield, Chester Arthur takes us to 1884. And then Grover Cleveland served his first term. And then he's defeated by Benjamin Harrison, but then he beats Harrison. So that's why he's 22 and 24. And after that, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, taking us to 2 terms of Woodrow Wilson, Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, then 2 terms of Bill Clinton, and then George W. Bush, and then Obama, Donald Trump, and the last president, current president, Joseph Biden.
Yeah!
Good job. That's impressive. That's impressive.
You know, I mean, what do you think about that?
That was nice. When you got to a certain point, I started to recognize him, but everything before that just sounded like a made-up character, if I'm being honest.
Right.
And Steve, the pressure of being on television on Civic Center TV didn't add any extra pressure to that. You ripped right through it, man. That was beautiful.
Nice, man.
But it did help that I was able to offer a little commentary because there was a pause enabling me to remember who was next.
All right, I know you got a township to run. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to chat with you. Happy President's Day after Steve Kaplan. This guy's you're gonna see him all over the township, and we look forward to having an opportunity to break bread in person. And thank you very much for your time this morning.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Thanks, gentlemen. Nice to see you. Have a great week.
All right, there you go. That you know, I wonder if any of the candidates that are running right now could get through 5 of them.
Right.
You know, because that was pretty amazing.
Very impressive. He knew the years, he knew the terms, and which term, how they obtained it. It was beautiful. It was nice to watch.
Yeah, and it's fun because I have an opportunity to have lunch with him from now and then, and he's ripped that out a couple of times when I've been with him in person, unexpected. And listen, there was no cheat sheet there. I absolutely promise you. It's something that he takes great pride in, is knowing all the presidents. So good job, Steve Kaplan. All right, we're going to take a break. You're watching The Splash Live. Dave Scott, Kevin McIntosh, the whole crew here. Calvin Brown doing a great job back at Master Control, pulling all this together. Jake Schaf, he's running around here somewhere. And you, the most important part of our team, will be back in a couple of minutes. Good morning. You're listening on 89.3 Lakes FM. Don't forget, we're always there on the radio and watching on Civic Center TV, The Splash Live. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. What people are watching in Kego Harbor. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Hi, Lisa Brown here, reminding you that Michigan's presidential primary is February 27th, and the 9 days of early voting begin February 17th. Remember, in the presidential primary, you must choose either a Democratic, Republican, or nonpartisan ballot if applicable. Thank you for taking part in our democracy.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Good morning and welcome back to The Splash Live. Dave Scott here and for Tyler Keefe. Tyler is off, I think, until next Wednesday, so we're working extra hard in his absence. Delighted to be joined by the newest member of our team, Kevin McIntosh. Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Happy to be here, Dave. Feeling great.
Good. You got that. What's a Motor City University sweatshirt you got on there?
Well, this is just an ode to my city, to our city, I should say, the entire Metro Detroit area. Now, obviously, there's no Motor City University, but this is just saying that I'm a kid who grew up and kind of developed, and I guess we can say graduated from the Metro Detroit area.
So I grew up in West Bloomfield. Do you think I could go out and find a West Bloomfield University sweatshirt, get one of those made up?
We may be working on it.
All right. Very good. So there's an awful lot going on over at the Parks and Recreation Department. It is a huge endeavor to pull off all of those activities, and they, like our police department, like our fire department, like many of the other departments here in our communities, they're always looking for a little bit of help. Joining us now, the HR manager for West Bloomfield Parks, Ashley Forton, joins us. Ashley, good morning and welcome to the Splash Live.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. We're doing good. Ashley, Kevin, Ashley. So,
nice to meet you, Ashley.
Hi, Kevin.
You can't hire him. He's already got a job, okay? He's done, so hands off.
All right.
So you got a lot. You got a lot coming up at Parks. Tell us, is it challenging to find the people you need to run the programs that we like to see in the West Bloomfield Parks Department?
Yes, it is a challenge. I have been here for almost a year, and last summer I jumped right in. We had some struggles last year. This year it's been looking pretty good, but each year we're kind of changing up our techniques and figuring out what different recruitment methods that we can use to get the best candidates hired for us. So a lot of different things we're trying this year. We're doing open interviews, which is something new. We have group interviews. We're doing a lot of recruiting with the local schools, the colleges, and just trying to reach out to everybody that we can.
Well, I imagine you have a wide variety of positions. Some of them are probably part-time. Some of them are probably summer. For a lot of moms and dads that are watching, and maybe other college kids coming home or high school kids, are students encouraged, college or high school students encouraged to apply?
Question.
Oh, yes. That is what a majority of our seasonal workers tend to be. So we have a lot of high school students and college students. We try to base our recruitment dates around when they're going to be home for spring break or when they're finishing up college. But our positions at Lily Pad Springs, our camp counselors, and even our parks maintenance, we love the college and high school kids. They can come right in and join us, and we hope that they do join us and then come back for multiple years after that.
So, Kevin, Lily Pad Springs, you've not seen it. It's like the coolest place. We'll go over and check it out. But it's like how would you describe it? I was going to call it like a water park, but it's this water-themed thing where the water's coming up and the kids run through it. How do you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a splash pad. It has a lot of different gadgets that shoot water everywhere. You can aim it at each other, so a lot of the kids will play games there. We have a few slides and a big bucket that dumps, I think it's about 55 gallons of water down. So you'll find a lot of the kids standing underneath that, especially if it's super hot out. But they love to run around and play with the different gadgets, and I think the parents and adults enjoy it too.
Nice. Okay, so I also want to know, is there any experience required? Is there on-the-job training? Does someone have to be experienced in one of the positions that they're applying for there?
Sure, great question. Not really. I mean, a lot of the kids that join us out of high school and college, it is their first job, which we love because we provide on-the-job training. So for our Lily Pad Springs attendants, like I said, it is their first job most of the time, and we do all the training over a weekend before the splash pad opens, and then throughout the season as well. For our parks positions, it's always great if you've done landscaping or worked in a different park before, but we don't eliminate those people right off the bat. It's more of just being a good fit with our culture here, and we're willing to train the right people.
And I see on the posting that we got from the PR folks at West Bloomfield Parks that they're like for Lily Pad, there's managers, assistant managers. So you're looking for a wide variety of people to staff that operation and your other operations at a variety of levels. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have different positions at Lily Pad Springs. We have different camp positions. So we look for camp managers, assistant managers, camp counselors, program assistant manager. At Lily Pad Springs, like you mentioned, we have our managers, assistant managers, and attendants. We have a couple intern positions open, and then also our parks. That's just the maintenance position, so just one level over there. But It's great when we have returning employees. So people visiting Lily Pad Springs this summer will be able to see the same managers that were there last year.
All right. Well, Ashley, hey, thanks a bunch. You got these jobs. It's fun. They're outside. People are in the sun. They're wearing shorts. They're enjoying their summer. You've got internships and other jobs. And I got to compete with all that for my summer interns. Why would they want to come work inside in our studio? They could be hanging out at Lily Pad Springs. Right. So thanks. On behalf of us, thanks a bunch. No, just kidding. So where would people go to apply and get all the information they need if they're interested?
Yeah, so they could check out our website at wbparks.org/employment. We also have our positions posted through Indeed. That's where we get most of our applicants. But if someone's watching this and they're going to a local high school, watch out for us. We'll be out in March doing some recruitment during the lunch times.
All right, you guys run an amazing program. I think we have, Kevin, you find out really quick. I think we have the best parks program anywhere in the state of Michigan. The work you guys do is amazing, and we really appreciate our partnership. Thank you for coming on the program today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, very good. That's Ashley Forton from West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation. Right. So we got an awful lot going on. Back to the more serious business. Voting is going on for the upcoming primary. It's already started. We're going to check in with our West Bloomfield Township Clerk, Debbie Binder, in a couple of minutes and talk about how that's going, some of the complexities in this current environment of running an election. They always need to talk about needing staff. They always need volunteers to make it all work. So she'll maybe put a little message out for that and a whole lot more. And don't forget, early voting has already started. We'll get an update on that and some other stories coming up for you in just a minute. I'm Dave Scott. He's Kevin McIntosh. You are whoever you are. Thank you for watching and listening. We are live at 89.3 Lakes FM, our own local FM radio station. You can listen to as you're driving around. Episodes of this program will continue to air over the next 24 hours. So if you're driving around at night in West Bloomfield like I was last night, listening to the show on the radio, thank you for tuning in. Live, local, whenever, social. It's The Splash on Civic Center TV. And we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
What people are watching in West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Splash Live. Dave Scott here in for Tyler Keefe. Thank you very much for joining us. We don't say this enough, but we really appreciate you watching our programs live on Civic Center TV on Channel 15 or Channel 99 AT&T. Checking us out when we're live, because we're live all over social. On Facebook, we're live there. We're live on YouTube. We are working on getting our programming live on Instagram. That'll be, a lot of younger people watch Instagram. I don't really watch Instagram. Kevin, maybe you're on Instagram more than I am. Kevin McIntosh is here with us in studio, but Instagram's kind of it's cooler than Facebook, right? Let's just be straight.
We have to cover all bases, right? Meet people where they are. Facebook, Instagram, all platforms. I agree.
And then, of course, always one of the great places to go is civiccentertv.com, where you will find our website will have our live video. It will also have our complete program guide, and then all the programs that we've done over the last couple of days, and actually the 9,500 videos that are posted on YouTube from over the past 10 years. They are all there. We invite you to check it out. So, Kevin McIntosh, I would like to introduce you to our township clerk, and her name is Debbie Binder. And Debbie joins us now live on The Splash. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Kevin. And good morning, West Bloomfield.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. So, listen, I mean, help has arrived. Tyler and I have been doing everything. So, we're really excited to have Kevin here, and I just wanted to make sure that you two met. And I don't know, got any welcoming words to say? Anything he needs to know about West Bloomfield, Debbie?
Well, one thing I'm going to backtrack a little bit to just say when you were talking about Facebook and Instagram, if you talk to my teens, Facebook's my generation. Instagram is pretty passé right now in their mind, and it's all about Snapchat. So that's what I'm hearing from the kids.
Yeah. Is that right?
It's the TikToks and the Snapchats. She's pretty much right. That's correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically, Debbie, what you're trying to politely say, because she wouldn't just come out and say it, she's too kind, is what I'm like 10 years behind the trends here?
Well, Dave, here's the thing. I'm right there with you. So, my kids think I'm 10 years behind too, but it's I think that our generation is heavily using Facebook. It's that the younger generation is Snapchat and TikTok.
All right. First of all, before we go any further, you have the neatest office of anyone I've ever seen.
I was just going to say that.
Just look at that. What's going on there? Don't you have any messy papers or something? You're in the middle of an election, and look at that office. Can we get a wide shot, Calvin, so we can see her whole office, right?
No wide shot. Then you'll see the truth. The camera lies.
All right, you tightened it up for us. So. Early voting is going on now. Can you give us an update?
Mm-hmm. Yep, early voting is going on right now at West Bloomfield Library, where it is available in our early voting center to anybody who is a West Bloomfield, Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor, or Orchard Lake resident. And they are open daily. They were open this past Saturday and Sunday, all week long, 8:30 to 4:30, except Thursday, which is noon to 8 p.m., and then 8:30 to 4:30 next Saturday and Sunday. So it gives people the opportunity to vote where they can actually feed their ballot into the tabulator to confirm that it was fed. And it also gives feedback. So if the voter were to make a mistake, like in the August primary, if they were to cross parties, which would spoil the partisan section, it does allow them to spoil their ballot and redo it. So it's a nice compromise to in an expansion of opportunity. We now have early voting, absentee voting, as well as precinct or poll voting.
So, listen, the whole political environment is challenging right now. We'll talk about that a little bit, but it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the expert, it seems to me we have more voting options, and we're communicating those to the public maybe a little bit better than we ever have in the past. Your thoughts?
I would agree. We have definitely had an expansion of voting options and to try to make it easier for people to cast their ballot. An example would be, as we've been told, somebody who works all day on election day may not be able to get to the polls. And if their boss doesn't give time off, they may not get to the polls. So now early voting really provides an opportunity for almost anybody to have their voice heard and to get to the polls. So it definitely is a nice expansion that makes it easier for people to vote. We are trying to message, to better, and with some of the partnering with the county on the early voting, they sent out a postcard to inform everybody about the opportunity for early voting. And we're very fortunate that our county clerk, Lisa Brown, has partnered with the local communities to offer the early voting centers, which allows us to share costs of staffing, to share staffing, as well as to help with the cost of equipment, because the county is administering the the early voting center. So it has been a tremendous help to the locals. I know that I'm greatly appreciative, and all of my colleagues that are participating with the county are greatly appreciative of the opportunity.
Hi, Debbie, it's Kevin. Just quick question, just to go back on it. Now, how does early voting work exactly? Do you just go up to the school and just vote like you would during normal election day, or do you have to fill out something in advance? How does that work exactly?
It's actually very similar to where you would vote on election day. You just go to the early voting center. In our case, it's not your precinct or polling location. It's the West Bloomfield Township main library. And the campus there, again, Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor, and West Bloomfield can all go to that early voting center. There's also an early voting center at Waterford Oaks that anybody in Oakland County can go to. So somebody would just walk in. There's no pre anything. You just go in. You would fill out an application like normal. The people working in the early voting center will check you in as they normally would. It does have a ballot on demand that knows which precinct you are in, prints the ballot for you, you vote your ballot, and you put it through the tabulator. So it really feels just like your precinct does on election day. It just allows you to cast that ballot earlier. And for people who want to know that they put their ballot through the tabulator, it provides that comfort, as well as the opportunity, again, to get feedback. And if you did make any kind of a mistake, you can spoil the absentee ballot and get a new one. So those are the pluses, but they're all great options. What I would say is every single ballot is counted and counted once. So it does give you an opportunity to cast your ballot different ways, but to make sure your voice is heard.
Good to know.
I'm going to put him on the spot, Debbie. So, I'll just be honest to the audience. They just signed a contract with Kevin, and the terms of the contract say that he gets paid a bonus for every question he asks right here on the show. So I know he's got to have, because he's got to. I'm putting him on the spot. He's got to have one more for you. Go ahead.
Well, ultimately, who do you really see taking advantage of early voting and absentee voting? Do you see the younger crowds going? Is it more of the older crowds? And how does the absentee voting work?
So, Kevin, that's a really good question. And we know this is going to be the year for new metrics. I'm a numbers person. I love to look at numbers, and they tell a story and look at patterns. And this year's going to be the year of new patterns and new numbers. We really don't know who early voting is going to draw from, if it's going to draw from our poll voters, if it's going to draw from our absentee voters, and what age demographic might take advantage of it. It will be a telling year this year, and I'm sure next year when, if I'm still here next year, if we will be talking about numbers that I've used from this year to get a better idea where we're going to be in terms of the early voting. So far, we've had about 150 people over the last 3 days that have taken advantage of the opportunity to vote early. Okay. So they are coming out and being at the library. They're seeing the signs when they arrive at the library. So we're getting people who just meander in because they see the signs. So I think as it becomes more known, you're going to see more people participate.
Debbie Binder is joining us. She is our West Bloomfield Township clerk. Early voting is going on right now. Debbie, you got to have people to staff all this. We were just talking to Parks about their staffing challenges. Do you need more election workers?
Dave, we are always recruiting for election workers. We are okay, and this is definitely going to be a slower election, so we are sufficiently staffed in the precinct, but we are always recruiting for election workers, and it's a great way for people to get involved, and it's a great way for them to understand how elections work and to be reassured about all the processes that are in place and the double checks. So I do invite anybody to get involved. As far as staffing for this election, I'm very fortunate, and especially when I talk to my colleagues, we have a community that really does step up and I won't say volunteer because they're paid, but per hour they're not paid very well, and they do step up to get involved in the community and to give back. They enjoy it. I always tell people when I'm recruiting, it's a very long day. Everyone complains and everyone comes back. They typically retire out of working elections. We have over 110 people that have worked at least 10 years, and many who've worked at least 20. So they do find it gratifying, and they do come back. And in terms of the early voting centers, in the 9 days of early voting, a lot of, when we sent out a request to our election inspectors as to who was interested in working the early voting, to centers, and we were sending those names to the county, they didn't get, they were full before they got past the letter B. So it gives you an idea how many of our community members are willing to get involved and step up. So I'm very grateful and very fortunate.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts on that, Debbie. Kevin doesn't know this, but he's kind of already figured it out. Our viewers who tune in on a regular basis. Now, this is not a partisan gotcha kind of talk channel here. We're here to support the activities in the community, but we have to deal with the reality that we're facing. And this whole election environment has got, at the very least, has got a lot more complicated. And it would be, I think, fair to say that the cynicism of the voting community is at a higher level than ever before. How does that impact what you have to do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, one of the conversations that I've added to my training of elections inspectors is to remind them that there's mechanics. They're there as mechanics to administer the election. They're not there to represent a party. And I tell them that we avoid all political discourse in a precinct. And the more we avoid those discussions, the more we find that we like people. So we really have focused on making sure they understand their role. The role of an election inspector is to be a mechanic of the election. We do have people in every precinct representing multiple parties, because many of the tasks that are done in the precinct require the presence of two parties to sign things and to sign certificates. But the fact is they're not there representing the parties. And we do find that if they avoid all political conversation, things go very nicely, and they find that they have friends that are perhaps not of their ideologies. We do have to answer more questions to the public than we typically have, and there is more concern. And the message, Dave, is the number one way to understand an election is to work one. The other way to understand an election is to talk to an election official, not get your news from TikTok. That it's really important that the source of your information is correct. And I know that I make myself available for anybody, whether they're my constituent or not, and most of my colleagues make themselves available for anybody to really understand the process and to clear up and dispel some of the myths that may be out there. But it is important when you're seeking information from which you're making an opinion that you do talk to somebody who has expertise in the area, or again, better yet, work an election, and you'll find out what really goes on to ensure security and integrity of those elections.
And Debbie Binder, West Bloomfield Township Clerk, we got to go in a minute, but before we go, listen, there are communities in our state, we pretty much know what they are, that swing either very Democratic or swing very Republican. And based on what you're saying, it sounds like you clerks around the state of Michigan, and I know you're one of the leading clerks around the state, you guys all get together and talk and convene and share ideas. But what you're telling us here in the program today is that even if you're in a left-leaning or a right-leaning district, there are election workers there representing all constituencies to make sure that there isn't really a problem, and you do that to police it to make sure it's fair.
Correct. That is absolutely true. And I am the recent one of the recent presidents of the Oakland County Clerks Association for all Oakland County clerks. And most of my colleagues are not of my party, but I trust any of them with my ballot because I trust the process, because I know the process. So I think that, yes, you're correct. There are parties represented, and there are processes in place to ensure that there is oversight and signatures and checkpoints. And this isn't new, Dave. This is all something we've been doing. But again, I trust any of my colleagues with my ballot because I trust the process.
All right, Debbie, thank you very much for your extended time this morning. Good to introduce you to Kevin. I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to meet, as we'll all be very active in the community. Thank you for your work. And the big message is, regardless of where you are leaning, just get out and vote. I think it is one of the most important things you can do to guarantee the continuation of our democracy. Get out of your house, and get down there to the library and vote. And the early voting couldn't be more convenient. Debbie Binder, West Bloomfield Township Clerk, thank you very much for joining us. All righty,
don't forget Election Day. Don't forget that Election Day.
Yes, of course.
on Election Day.
And
Tuesday,
do we
February
still do
27th.
that on Election Day?
I know, right?
All right, very good.
7
Thank you,
a.m.
Debbie. Good.
7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Election Day, and welcome to West Bloomfield, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, Debbie Binder, thank you very much. Hey, we're running out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wow, we packed an awful lot into today, Kevin.
Nice.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching. Really good. There's always more. Just tune in, and listen to all of our outlets. I'm Dave Scott. He's Kevin McIntosh. This is The Splash Live.